Hello, guys, and welcome back to Moment in Isaac's Head. Okay, so today's episode is a very different and weird episode, and it's it's like it's a topic that everybody has experienced, and I don't think there's anybody in this world or on this planet that hasn't experienced what I'm about to talk about, and unless if they want unless if they just want to deny it. That's the only way they're going to say they haven't experienced it. And I know most people haven't understood the whole concept of today's particular topic. And yes, it's really, really confusing. Sometimes we're being taught how to react, how to act, what to say, what to do when we experience these things. And basically, I just want to share my own thoughts and my own ideas on what this is about. Because tonight, whilst recording or before recording, I have had my own taste of people telling me how to act, how to behave, what to understand, how to feel, how to think in this particular situation. And maybe I should just introduce what we want to talk about today. So, what we want to talk about today is pain. And yes, I'm not talking about the type of pain that you get from blade scratches or paper cuts or iron burns that you can stitch up clean and bandage and all of that. No, talking about the emotional and mental battles we face, like from loneliness, depression, loss, heartbreak. And I'm not talking about literal breakfast. Though sometimes breakfast causes pain. I mean, everybody here has had a breakup before know the pain of breakup. I mean, I can't. But then the point is, this particular episode isn't about physical pain, but about the emotional and mental pain that people feel. And I just want to just talk about random stuff on it. So let me start with something I wrote down in my notepad. And it states that you never fully understand a man's you never fully understand a man's dilemma because you cannot walk in his shoes with his feet. Okay, so I want to unpack that. Um, I think growing up, I've always heard that, or many of us might have heard that you cannot understand someone until you walk in their shoes. Or some people say, walk in my shoes first so that you'll be able to understand how I'm feeling. Or you're not in his shoes, walk in someone else's shoes. And yes, they always say this so that we'll feel empathetic for the person. And I just started thinking about it honestly. And I thought about it and I felt these people are outright. Yes, they're trying to be empathetic. They're trying to be there. They're trying to feel for you, but there's a flaw in that idea. It's extremely flawed. That statement is very, very flawed because then I looked at it and I remembered when I was in secondary school when I went visiting my cousins and I didn't have a bathroom slippers to wear and my cousin gave me his. Though his feet were a lot bigger than mine, but they felt extremely comfortable. They felt extremely comfortable. And looking at them, I was a child, somewhat intuitive. And I used to see him complain that they were tight and stuff like that. And then I worried and I felt, oh my God, this shit is very, very comfortable. And now, growing as an adult, remembering most of these things, and then me trying to put my foot inside my dad's shoes when I was a kid, you get, and then me trying to force my foot inside my younger brother's shoes and stuff like that, even though it's literal, yeah. But then let's start to think about it that if literally we could do stuff like that and we'll still not understand why the other party is feeling that way, then why do we try to make this emotional, or we're trying to like create this idiom that walk in someone's shoes before you can know their pain? Why can't we say walk in their feet and place their feet inside their shoes and then you walk in it? And that made me realize that truthfully, you can't understand someone's pain because we definitely do not, we don't feel the blisters the way they do. I'm talking like metaphorically right now. You can't feel the weight like pressing on their soles. You can't feel like the places that the shoe is pinching and stuff like that. So now let's take this literally, yeah? So you can't have the person's blisters. You can't have the, okay, let's say we're in Nigeria, yeah. We can't have the person's athlete foot. Let's not be too sure about this. You cannot feel the way the shoe is like tight on their leg. You cannot feel the way the sole is like pressing on their feet. Sometimes when I wear certain slides and then my friends are like, oh no, this your slide is soft, it's kiniko. And then is when I'm like wearing it, I'm always feeling weird about it. I don't know if that makes any sense. As a guy, when you just buy some slides, you know, these are some slides cuts your like your toes at particular points, and then your friends will like put it on and you'll be like, oh, this your slide soft, it makes sense. And then you look at them, you're like, something where they cut my leg. I don't know if you get me. And then you have to like wear socks on it so that it won't hurt your feet. That's exactly the way pain feels. Pain isn't something two people can feel at the same time. You might be twins and first, yeah, you people might not like understand. You might not understand like the way, you might not understand the way the other person is feeling. Two people can go through a same situation, through an exact same situation. I mean, one time when I was younger, I witnessed a set of twins lose a parent. And I saw that the way one twin was acting was different from that of the other. And people started complaining. They were like, oh, this one is not expressing his pain. This one is expressing the pain too much and stuff like that. Do you get? And that's where it gets tricky because society and people expect you to feel pain in certain ways. I mean, there's this new trend going on where people are calling other people my Sheila and stuff like that. And I was thinking about it. I was like, the person that kept saying this, my Sheila, was actually crying for his daughter. And people are using this as something that is cool. You get like, even people could understand. Sometimes I usually wish people that use that sound actually would know the pain that that man was going through when he was saying that people have turned into like happy sounds and stuff like that. Like the way society expects us to pretend, or the way they expect us to feel pain to an extent, like it started making me like think that what is society's standard of pain? And then it makes no sense because there is no standard to pain. Pain is personal. Pain is different, is unique. Some people, if some people don't cry enough, they are judged. If some people cry too much, they say they are pretentious. So that like, oh god, that made me like start to think of or think about how we can like cope with pain and like cope with friends in pain, and how not to, how not to be right, how not to make someone feel right or wrong about pain, because there is definitely not a right way or a wrong way to hurt. And what's not okay is for people to judge people on how they process their pain. Let's talk about judgment. Actually, I think I've talked about it for a while. Some people will say, oh, it's too dramatic. Some people will be like, why is it not silent? Is it the only one that something happened to? Is it the only one that this happened to? And then people do not understand that like the where everybody's coming from is totally different. Like the way people handle stuff is totally different. The way people like struggle is really, really different. And mm, I just want to say no reaction is wrong and no person is pretending, because they're simply just processing the pain the way that is feeling manageable to them. And sometimes I feel like we shouldn't even have expectations for pain, honestly, because why should we label people? I mean, there are like four categories of people. We have the heartless people, we have the pretentious, we have the weak, we have the dramatic. How is it your business? Like, if this happens to you, I'm sure that, well, I don't want to also criticize right now. So, technically, how can we deal with pain? How can we help? How can we truly support people in pain? Yes, it might come to the sense that you might be feeling the way someone else is feeling, but one thing, do not assume that the person going through something is going through the thing the way you went through it. For example, I'll use breakup as a lot, it's a lot more like, with people are, especially in our generation. Pain is not one size that can fit everybody. Your heartbreak is not someone else's heartbreak. Someone's loss is not your loss. And the most beautiful thing you can do for someone is to accept and acknowledge that. One, the thing is, you should let the person know that I cannot understand how you feel, honestly. I cannot, you have to let the person know that you're sorry. You can't imagine how much this means to them, or how much this feels. You get? I feel like that's the first thing we can do to help someone. And then the second thing is, we shouldn't try to fix things. I know normally as human beings, we always want to look for solutions, but I feel the best thing most people need when they're in pain is someone who will listen. Sometimes, sometimes the most beautiful thing that a person needs is reassurance. Sometimes it's reassurance that they need. Sometimes it's just listening ear that you need. Not for you to see anything, not for you to advise, or just for you to listen, just for you to let them, like, sometimes all you just need to do is be silent and let them talk. Let them let them let go of their pain. And the funny thing is, yes, you might tell someone that, okay, just breathe, calm down. And then the person tells you that minute that they're fine. And then the next day they come, they're like confused and stuff like that. Don't judge them. Still listen. Because the way pain works is tricky. It comes and it goes. It's like sickness. Everybody here has fallen sick before. In the night, you feel the sickness. During the day, you're feeling active. And then people are like, is it not, no be gadus be this, no be gadus they feel sick for midnight. I be no be gadus they feel sick yesterday. And then the next afternoon, the person's like, you know, up and running. And then in the night again, the person is down. That's the way it works. Sometimes healing is not instantaneous, it's not spontaneous, it's gradual. We shouldn't judge. Sometimes healing takes days. So people like this, they'll act like they're fine. I feel like I do that sometimes personally if I'm going through shit. On random days, I look fine. In like a minute, I'm looking down. In another minute, I'm looking this. Like, pain doesn't come with a timeline. So we should resist the urge to say you're stronger than this, or you should have gotten over this now. You get, like, strength doesn't actually, sometimes I feel like as people we feel strength is no more feeling the pain. Like, or more, they show that pain again, so it means it's strong. Because it's not showing it doesn't mean it's not feeling it too. Strength is like feeling it, facing it, and finding a way through it. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It really doesn't. And lastly, the most beautiful thing you can do for someone in pain is being kind. Sometimes it might be that little, I'm here if you need me. Anytime you want to talk, I've got you. Okay, what do you need me to do? Those questions, like, sometimes you don't have to like do it for them. You ask them, what do you want me to do? How if it's getting a cup of coffee for them, if it's you just giving a hug, if it's just holding their hands, you being there in the moment, you cracking jokes to make them happy, those little kind gestures are what people need, honestly. And I feel most people, especially Nigerians, like, we fail to understand that, like, people can actually go through pain, and we fail to understand the way we can help people to heal through pain. And that's the main point of the podcast, of this particular episode. And that's like the main point of this particular podcast. So I guess this is me about to round up. So if you're listening to this episode and you're in pain right now, I just want you to know that whatever it is you're feeling is valid. And whatever it is you're going through, no matter how big or how small it is, or how people, because I said pain is not something that is big. No matter how big or small people might think it is, it matters. The fact that it matters to you means it matters. And don't let anyone make you feel like your pain is too small, or like your pain is too small for you to feel it, or like your pain is too big for you to feel it. No pain is too big, no pain is too small. Your feelings are valid and your feelings matter. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Don't let anyone make you feel like your emotions or your feelings are invalid. And if you're someone who wants to like support a loved one who is hurting, please and please, I'm begging you. I'm not saying you should advise, and I'm not asking you to reply. The only thing I'm urging you to do is listen. Listen and understand. Let them feel themselves. Let them feel their feelings without being judged. Let them be humans. Let them express themselves, because pain is messy and it is unpredictable, and that's what makes every single person human. And as I wrap up this particular episode, I just want to tell you guys that pain is not weakness. It's not weak to be pain. And as men, we're going to be coming to later on in the year, later on we're going to be having like World Men's Day or something like that. And maybe I'm going to do a particular episode on that too, and talk about the mental health of men as a whole. Pain is not weak. And pain defines how connected we are to our humanity. And while you might not be able to take away someone's pain, you can always hold space for it. And that way, you'll be a reminder to them that in their darkest moments, they're not alone. Be that person's light at the end of their tunnel. Be that person's support when they're weak. And be a friend when a friend is in pain. Thank you so much for listening to this particular episode. And I hope that this particular episode like goes with you like in every single thing you do, anybody that you meet. And I want you to remember that sometimes life might not make any sense, but then being kind, a little kind gesture always does. So take care of yourself and take care of those around you. It's your boy Isaac, and you've spent another moment in my head.